All right, so Miles Hastings, quarterback of the number six UC Davis Aggies, second leading passer in the FCS right now, it seems, and coming off a battle for the Golden Horseshoe win over Cal Poly. Congratulations on that, and thanks for joining me today, man. Sorry, man. So you're from San Marcos, California, which is pretty much San Diego, from what I understand. Can you just talk about what life was like as a kid and literally just like the best city and area on the planet, and when you started playing football, and what the inspiration was for becoming a quarterback?
Yeah, so San Diego was obviously amazing. Started growing up in the Torrey Pines area, so I started at Torrey Pines High School, which is they're known for having a lot of powerhouse sports. But before then, I kind of grew up playing Pop Warner through Torrey Pines as well, and kind of what got me into quarterback was my older brother. He's 2 years older than me. He played quarterback, so it's kind of like you want to kind of do what your brother does. So ended up playing quarterback probably around like sixth grade. Started playing football around fourth, and then it's kind of been ever since. Grew up and then went to Torrey Pines, which Torrey Pines is a they run a wing T offense. So um, I definitely didn't want to stay in it too long. So that's why we ended up transferring to San Marcos, which is about 30 minutes north of it in like the North County of San Diego. But then so I spent my junior senior year at San Marcos and had a really good junior year. That's how it got me recruited here to Davis, and then finished up with a strong senior year. And but it's been great ever since. I've been at Davis ever since. I committed after my junior year to Davis. So
Yeah. Well, I'm actually pretty jealous of you, man, because I was a wing T quarterback in high school too, except my parents did not let me leave my high school. And yeah, I ended up being a D3 guy, so it is what it is. But at least you got to escape the wing T in high school, man. But here I go. I was gonna ask your family's background in music. I saw that I think your mom owns a music studio or studios. Your dad plays guitar, sings. I think I saw that your sister's a music major at USC. You play the piano. What did life look like growing up in a household like that?
yeah, so my parents actually both went to Berkeley, Boston College of Music. Um, they met there and then moved to Nashville, Tennessee, because my dad was in a band, and then had all three of us kids. So I'm the youngest. So like I mentioned, my older brother, and then I have an older sister um, in Nashville. And then we moved out to San Diego at a young age, but um, my dad has always been in bands, kind of does like blues, all that. And then my mom now owns two music studios in San Diego. So she has like over 1,000 students. She's been open for like 15 years. They teach everything from like guitar to piano to and drums, trumpet, voice, all that. But yeah, growing up, I kind of just did piano because my mom always taught it, and it was kind of easy. You just go to the studio like after school and everything, do some like piano lessons. Don't do it as like consistently as I would like, obviously, with the schedule of being in college, but yeah, definitely have a background in that. So
Yeah, I mean, like parents went to Berkeley College of Music, dad's in a band, everything's revolving around music. How did your older brother, I know you said that that was your inspiration, getting into playing quarterback. How did you guys end up becoming football players and not, going on road tours at this age already?
yeah, so the reason we moved out to San Diego, my uncle was actually the strength and conditioning coach for the Chargers at the time. So my dad had his brother out here, and then my mom had a bunch of family out in San Diego. So it kind of brought us out there, and that's what kind of got us all into football was because my uncle. So that was kind of the initial thing into football, I think, and then. You kind of want to do whatever your brother does. So then he started playing Pop Warner,
Yeah.
with some of his buddies. And then, yeah, so then I was like, all right, well, I want to play. And then my first year I got to play with him, and then um, we played varsity together at Torrey Pines one year when I was a sophomore. He was a senior, so that was awesome too.
Playing piano, is that something you use as like a release from football? Do you go to that whenever you can, or is it just something you kind of got in your back pocket?
Uh, More in like the back pocket, I would say. Like it's not necessarily like I do it all the time, but I do have like a keyboard at like my apartment.
Any aspirations to learn any new instruments or no?
Yeah, I would love to learn the guitar. I know I've always wanted to learn from my dad, so I think that's something that I'll eventually get to. I literally have a guitar in my room that's just sitting there and has not been played yet, and I just need to get to it. So
If I'm not mistaken, according to 24/7, I saw you really had like two offers coming out of high school, UC Davis and Montana State. Can you just talk a little bit as to what made you commit to UC Davis?
yeah, so UC Davis was my first offer, but um, initially it was Coach Plow, who's our current head coach right now. He was the offensive coordinator at the time here, so he recruited me initially, um, and Coach Dan Hawkins was our head coach. So they both recruited me, but just fell in love with just being in California still, like Coach Plow and all the other players. Like I loved my visit up here, and then it was like the opportunity to like play Division 1 football, and then I shortly got Montana State after, but I didn't know how like official some of those are. Some of those
Yeah,
offers. I felt like
especially
Davis was
nowadays.
really yeah. I felt like Davis was really only my offer, but it was like a blessing because like I committed pretty early, just being like, all right, this is where like I would love to go. So it's kind of like full circle now, obviously having Coach Plow back. So yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get into Coach Plow in a little bit. But one thing, once you got to UC Davis, you redshirted that 2019 season, I believe it was. I always like to talk to guys who came in as redshirts. If you could just describe what that redshirt year was like for you, especially you, since you had a unique one, that prolonged one that bled into that wild, whatever it was, spring season 2021. What was it like for you as a redshirt quarterback? Did it get tough ever at times? And going through that experience, what area of your game and just your whole college life do you think it elevated you most, would you say?
Yeah, the redshirt year, it's tough, Sometimes, definitely in the season, um, our strength coach here, Coach Burke, you got early workouts, 5:45 in the morning before practice. Uh, all the time, you're trying to put on as much weight, you're trying to develop as much as you can. You're running the scout team, uh, which is like awesome and everything, and you're with
Yeah.
your guys, and you got your 20 or so red shirts that you're in there with grinding every morning. But for me, a little bit of the red shirting, like, so we had a quarterback here, Jake Mayer, who was a senior when I was a freshman, and he plays for the Calgary Stampeders right now. Um, but I really got to learn a lot from him, and just seeing him as a senior and how he went about his business, and um, just his knowledge, and hearing him, like him and Plow back and forth, was really what I just tried to like pick up the most on. But I think that redshirt year, it was initially like you're swimming a little bit, trying to gain any knowledge of like the offense and everything, and you're kind of just um, that was a big year for me, just figuring out like a lot of football. To be honest, just because sometimes in high school you don't really know like a lot of this like every other scheme or defense and things like that. So that was like the
Yeah,
biggest part for me.
absolutely. And then, obviously that 2021 spring season, which was crazy, you get some action there. And then the regular season back in the fall 2021, I think you played in 10 games, maybe started those last five, is what I read. But 2022, you explode onto the scene. I'm talking All American, first team All Big Sky, team captain. I think I saw that there was like a 3 game stretch where you completed 82% of your passes with no picks. You were rolling. What was it that clicked for you at the start of that season, would you say? And what do you attribute that season of success too.
Yeah, I think a lot of that too was we had a group of seniors there that really believed in me and the coaches, always having my back. And the offensive coordinator at the time, Cody Hawkins, we really just clicked in a lot of ways to really figure out what he wanted out of the offense, and he kind of went about what I was good about or things like that. I think for that it was again like a lot of those senior guys. We had Alonzo Gilliam at running back who sometimes made it easy on me to just find him to get him the ball. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but no, that was a fun season. We were kind of crawling back late in the year. I think we started 1-4, but uh, yeah, that was a fun year. Definitely think my confidence grew a lot throughout that year, just kind of figuring things out and getting more and more years of the offense under my belt. I think is was the biggest thing like that year, just kind of from my redshirt year up till then.
Yeah. Going into 2023, I saw that you were on the Walter Payton Award watch list, all that stuff. And frankly, 2023, it looked like things cooled down a little bit. Played in all the games still, but stats cooled down a little bit. And I mean, I was looking at the schedule that you guys played 2023. It was literally win loss, win loss, win loss, win loss. And then I think the last three games of last season, you guys, went on a little run and won those last three games. But like huge roller coaster. Again, like I said, stats cooled off a little bit. I was reading an article, I think on like the Sacramento Bee or something like that, that was written earlier this season in September, and it talked about the 2023 season, how it kind of took a toll on you. Even said that you were contemplating if you were going to return to UC Davis or to football at all. What did you kind of lean on to get you through tough times like that, and what ultimately made you come back to UC Davis, would you say?
Yeah, I think obviously when the times get tough, it's all really about who you have around you. I think my teammates in the quarterback room too. I think we have a really competitive quarterback room, but also a group that will really support each other and help each other grow. And as of coming back, I think a little bit of it was is I was a fifth year, almost felt a little burnt out at the end, to be honest. But it was more so I was getting ready to graduate from school. So I was getting ready to graduate, kind of felt like it was time. But then towards the end of the year and then going back in, taking like a little time with my family in December, I just didn't get rid of that itch, you know? And I
Yeah.
was like, I can't leave it. I can't leave it on that. And I wanted to get back and so thankful I did. And that was really kind of the turning point a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, I know your mind right now is on Eastern Washington and all that stuff, and it's just about the next game. But I'll go ahead and say it like up until this point, this season's been quite the success. I mean, we're 7 games in, and you're already close to touchdown pass wise to that 2022 season. I think you had 20 touchdowns that season. You're at 16 now. You're about to surpass passing yards of last year already. That article that I referenced in that question before, the title of it was called Finding Joy. How much of that concept and Coach Plow's return do you think contributed to what's going on this year so far?
I think the finding joy is a lot of it. Coach Plow really instilled that in all of us, and finding the daily process and the daily improvement and the best of who we are. You know, it's he really preaches like it's never really about them. It's always about us and being our best. So I try to take that into my own game where it's just it's about like my own personal mindset out there and what do I want it to be and just the competitive nature of our team too just at practice like we practice really hard and coach Plow really instilled a lot of those values into us where it's we're practicing hard, we're pushing each other, we're keeping each other accountable, which I think has led into the success that we've had so far this year.
It's been a great year so far, but just because it's been, a great season up to this point doesn't mean that it's been easy. I mean, down 14 at one point to, I believe it was number four, Idaho, down five to a winless Portland State with, I think, a minute 30 left. You got to go 95 yards and you hit that walk-off touchdown buzzer beater, which was crazy. Mentality wise, what is it that's going through your head in those come from behind moments and when the lights are the brightest? What are you telling yourself? Do you have any processes you go through? I don't know, breathing techniques and stuff that you hear all these guys talk about. Any specific processes, or is it just kind of that Southern California cool? This isn't a big deal. Treat it like anything else, and just go sling it. What's the mentality behind those really big moments you've had already in this season twice?
Yeah, I think something that I always try to tell myself out there is, and we kind of say in the quarterback room is fresh eyes, or even just I try to say like as calm or neutral as possible. Every play's new. One play at a time. Like I don't need to look too far in the future, and that's when you can start getting ahead of yourself. So even on those long drives, it's like, all right, what do I need to do on this play? Like, well, how much time do I got left? What are the timeouts? Stuff like that. Rather than looking at like, man, I got to drive 95 yards right now. Like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you got this play right now. So I think that's kind of what I try to tell myself, and throughout the game, even, it's like, all right, you may be behind, but I'm not really focused on that. It's kind of like, all right, what situation am I in right now? Trying to be mindful of that rather than because if you start looking to the future more, I think it causes you can build some anxiety through it, especially in a game. If you feel like you got to make something happen.
Yeah, fresh eyes. I like that. I'm gonna start using that one for sure. So yeah, going into just some quick hitter questions. I always like to ask quarterbacks because everyone is like completely different. You got guys who got all these rituals, and then you have guys that don't even listen to music before games. Pre-game routine, night before, morning of, right before the game. You got any special rituals at all? Any special processes? What's pre-game routine look like for you from night before the game to right before kickoff?
Right. I think early in the week for me, it's like a lot of as much prep as I can, as much film watching, as much getting dialed into the game plan of what we're trying to get done. And then as the week goes on, I think a lot of it is visualizing, seeing how you want to play out there, which is something like I've grown on and trying to like sit there calm at night, picture what you want done, how you want to feel on game day. But as of game day, I try to just stay pretty calm. I'm not a big hoorah guy. I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of like pump up music or anything. I try to stay pretty even keel.
Yeah. Well, you said that, and since man, you got this music background, I did hear an interview a few years ago, and you were talking about futures, what you're kind of bumping before the games, some stick talk and stuff like that. But besides that, I don't know if that's still your go-to music on game day. What is your go-to music on game day? And aside from that, outside of the football building, off the field, just chilling, maybe, I don't know, walking around Torrey Pines or something like that. What's some other kind of music that you'd like to listen to?
Yeah, I think a lot of times by default it's whatever everyone's playing in the locker room on the speaker right before. But on my own, I'm a big country guy. I like country.
Yeah,
Kind of
some
listen to
Morgan
all.
Wallen, stuff like that.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, exactly. I would say mostly just country. Even just like in on the bus ride to the game, I'll probably put a little something on. But I probably not really any future anymore. I don't know when I said that, but I guess I
That
did.
that was younger you or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet I was pumped up that day or something, but
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. So I actually got the chance to speak with Tommy Mellott, quarterback at Montana State. A few weeks ago. They had just beat New Mexico week 0, I believe it was. One thing that I totally regret not asking him that I'm going to ask you since you're a Big Sky guy. I love Big Sky football. It fascinates me. I mean, I'm from Miami. I am from nowhere near where you guys are playing football. But some of the venues, your guys' spot, both Montana State, Montana, you guys are going to be at the Inferno in Eastern Washington this weekend. Man, those environments are incredibly unique. Some of them are beautiful. What's your favorite Big Sky venue to play at and why?
Um, Other than our stadium?
Other than your spot, yeah.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I think so far there is a lot of cool places to play out here, and it's a very challenging conference, like every week, like anybody can beat anybody, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of talent in this conference, but so far I think one of my favorite spots was at Montana State. Um, we had a night game there like 2 years ago. But we do play at Montana this year, which will be my first time going there. Also, never been to Eastern Washington, so we'll see that. But of the places I've been to, I would say Montana State. They got great fans over there, and it's a fun spot to be at.
So, finally, you're obviously a Southern California kid, way down there, San Diego. You're at Davis now, UC Davis, which is in Davis, California, way up north. What are some hobbies outside of the football building? And are there some hobbies that are more Southern California oriented to, some Northern California oriented hobbies? What's that kind of look like?
Um, yeah, I think for me, I love to golf. There's a bunch of us on the team that love to golf too. In the off season, that was into the summer, which gets some good matches out there, And our coaches, I know they love to golf too. So sometimes you'll see them in passing at the golf course. Um, but other than that, SoCal versus NorCal, I would say more people in SoCal probably surf. I mean, not up here. You don't really hear about a lot of the NorCal kids surfing. I think
Yeah.
because it's colder water up in Northern California.
Are you a surfer at all or no?
I grew up a little bit, but no, I wouldn't consider myself a surfer. I can't admit to that. No, no.
Yeah, man. So you got piano, golf, and then maybe you should take up surfing before the guitar playing. Yeah. So finally, last one, UC Davis, FCF spot. You've been there now for a while. You're not from close by. Again, like I said, you're a Southern California guy. Just talk about your favorite, things about UC Davis. Do some promotion for your program. What's been some of the best parts about being a UC Davis Aggie?
Yeah, I think the culture that we have with the guys, everyone's really close. No matter what age you are, we're gonna pick you up, keep you getting you better. And then I think the school as well. It's a big campus. I think around 30,000 students. There's always a lot going on. I know a bunch of guys get in clubs and different activities on campus. It's beautiful weather. You're in California. There's no snow or anything like a lot of other
Yeah.
schools, but and then just the proximity around it. You got Sacramento just 20 minutes away, and then you're also short drive to San Francisco or stuff like that. Tahoe, 2 hours away, which is a beautiful spot. So yeah, there's a lot to do around here.
Yeah, sounds like a good deal. You ever take the PCH back home to San Diego or no?
No, no, really. Usually, there's a lot of guys from Southern California, so it'd be either you're carpooling together or you just take a short hour flight.
Yeah, yeah, I'd assume so. I think I saw that it's like 9 hours away from San Diego or something like that. So the flight's definitely probably better. But yeah, man. Well, Miles, appreciate you joining me today. Good luck against Eastern Washington. Your first time in the Inferno. I'll definitely be tuned in as best I can. Be keeping tabs the rest of the season. Love the chance to tell your story and all that. And yeah, good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this.